This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions. She gives the answers. No filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today we're getting into something that trips up a lot of serious AI builders: prompt versioning. Most builders treat prompts like disposable text. Draft something, tweak it, move on. If your prompts change tomorrow, or a model update quietly changed how they behave, would you know what broke, why, and how to fix it? Joining me is Claudine from Claude by Anthropic. Welcome back.
This is one of those topics that's easy to dismiss until it bites you. The pattern I see constantly is teams treating prompts like config strings when they're really behavioral contracts. Small wording changes can shift outputs in ways that ripple through everything downstream. And the failure mode is usually silent. A prompt doesn't crash. It just starts being subtly wrong, and 3 weeks later, someone notices the support tickets have changed shape.
Behavioral contracts, not config strings. That's a useful distinction. There's a difference between iterating on a prompt to make it better and actually having a versioning strategy. Most developers are good at the first one. Almost none have a structured approach to the second. What's the difference between working inside a well-structured prompt system versus one that's ad hoc?
In an ad hoc setup, the developer and I end up doing archaeology. They paste a prompt, something's off, and neither of us knows whether it's the prompt that changed, the model, or the input shape. So we're guessing in 3 dimensions at once. In a well-structured system, the prompt has a version, there's a known good output, and we can isolate what moved. Going from something feels wrong to this specific change broke this specific behavior, that's the entire game. Without it, every prompt fix is a small act of faith.
Guessing in 3 dimensions at once, well, that's exactly what it feels like. And it connects to something that catches teams off guard: model updates. A provider pushes an update, behavior shifts, and without a versioned baseline, you can't even see what moved. What should builders be doing to protect themselves from those silent regressions?
A model update is effectively an input change you didn't make, so your defense has to match. You need a baseline you can compare against, a small curated eval set for every prompt that matters. Known good outputs captured at a specific model version. 20 representative cases per prompt will catch most drift. Pick the edge cases that hurt most when they break. Those are the ones worth locking down. The other piece people underweight is pinning. If your provider lets you pin to a specific model snapshot, use it, and treat moving off that pin as a real migration. Upgrade deliberately, evals in hand, so the change is something you chose rather than something that happened to you.
20 test cases and deliberate migrations. That's a lot more tractable than most people assume. Let's talk about the subtler version of this problem: prompt drift. Even when nobody's changed anything, a prompt that worked perfectly 6 months ago can quietly become miscalibrated. How does that happen, and what should builders be watching for?
Drift is sneaky because the prompt itself didn't change. The world around it did. The most common version is assumption drift. The prompt was written when your product had 3 customer tiers, now it has 5. Nobody updated it, because nobody remembered it encoded that assumption in the first place. The other big one is input drift. The shape of what users actually send you shifts over months. A prompt tuned for the old distribution starts handling the new one a little worse, in ways no single example would flag.
So what's the fix?
Treat prompts as living artifacts. Every time the product changes in a way that touches what a prompt assumes, new feature, new tier, new tone guideline, that prompt goes on a list to revisit. And periodically run your eval set against current production traffic, not just the cases you wrote 18 months ago. That's where you see the distribution actually moving under you.
Living artifacts, I like that framing. For builders wondering where to actually start, what does the minimum viable prompt versioning strategy look like? Not an enterprise platform, just the practices that separate systems that stay reliable from ones that degrade.
The bar is much lower than people think. Start small and start today. Put your prompts in version control as their own files. not buried inside application code, so a diff actually shows you what changed and when. Add a tiny header to each one, a version number, the model it was tuned against, and a one-line note on what it's supposed to do. Future you will not remember, and neither will the next person who touches it. Then build the world's smallest eval harness, a folder of input-output pairs, and a script that runs them whenever you change the prompt or the model. A Git repo, a JSON file of test cases, and 20 minutes of discipline gets you 80% of what the enterprise tooling gives you.
So what does it actually cost a team when they skip all of this? What does that reactive detective work actually look like in practice?
There's a pattern that comes up constantly. A team has a prompt powering some classification or extraction step, routing tickets, tagging content, pulling fields from documents. One day someone notices the downstream numbers look weird. They come to me trying to debug it. The first question is always the same. When did this start? Nobody knows. The prompt lives inline in the application, touched by 4 people over a year, no record of which tweak shipped when. So you end up reconstructing history from Git, blame on surrounding code, which only catches changes someone committed cleanly. The fix is almost never hard once you can see the diff. The expensive part is the week of detective work, figuring out which diff to look at. That cost is almost entirely paid in human hours after the fact, rather than effort up front.
And on the other side, when teams do get this right from the beginning, what changes?
The whole team's relationship to their prompts changes. Prompts stop being this fragile thing nobody wants to touch. They become something the team can iterate on with confidence. Someone proposes a change, the eval set runs, the diff is visible, and the decision to ship takes minutes instead of a half-day argument. In ad hoc shops, prompts become tribal knowledge. Only the person who wrote it dares touch it. With structure, a newer engineer can propose a refinement, prove it on the eval set, and ship without needing the original author's blessing. The deepest payoff is that the team starts treating prompt quality as a measurable thing rather than a vibe. That's where the real compounding gains come from.
Any final thoughts for listeners who are ready to act on this?
2 things. First, the cost of starting is genuinely tiny, and the cost of not starting compounds in ways you won't see until it hurts. You do not need a platform or a vendor. Prompts in files, a header, 20 test cases, that is the whole on-ramp. Second, and this is the one I'd ask people to really sit with, treat your prompts as part of your system, not as text that lives somewhere near it. The moment you start versioning them, evaluating them, and reviewing changes to them the way you review code, they stop being mysterious things that occasionally misbehave. They become components you actually understand. That shift is worth more than any single technique I've described today.
Prompts as part of the system, not text that lives near it. That's the line I'm taking away from this one. Claudine, thanks for making this concrete. This is exactly the kind of thing that's easy to defer until you can't anymore.
If there's one thing I'd want people to walk away humming, it's this. Prompts are code that happens to look like English. Pick one prompt that matters this week. Give it a file, a version header, and 20 test cases. And notice how different the next change feels. That's the whole experiment.
That's a good place to end. Thanks to everyone listening. We'll see you next time. Claude Code Conversations is an AI Joe production. If you're building with AI or want to be, we can help. Consulting, development, strategy. Find us at aijoe.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack. Link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.